Hello. So I've been letting some seeds stratify in the fridge for quite a few weeks. I have munstead lavender, I have echinacea seeds, 3 different kinds of echinacea, and I have rudbekia, perennial rudbekia. I'm trying to think of what its actual scientific name is, but I forgot. It's something triloba. Rudbekia triloba. So I have them right there. I took them out of the fridge maybe a week ago, maybe a little bit less than a week ago. They've munstead lavender. You can see already through the bag that it's starting to germinate. I'll open them up and give you a look. Echinacea. I have the paradiso mix and cheyenne spirit. And in here I have, these containers are so handy, by the way, to save. Oh shit. These are the delphinium belladonna mix that I started in another video. This is the echinacea, the purpea, just the classic purple coneflower. Here's the rudbekia. I put it in the fridge like 2 weeks later than I put rudbekia up here. So this has been in this bigger section. They've been in the fridge for about a month, and this section right here maybe only 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe about 2 weeks. But it looks like it germinated well. Actually, it looks like it germinated better than this top part. I forgot how many seeds exactly I put in here, but I know here I put 20 seeds. I wrote it down on that post-it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 20. Not bad. Here is, I don't know out of how many, but only about 6 as well. See, I think this little one is the echinacea. I think I only had 4 seeds. And it looks like they all germinated. Oh, awesome. It looks like most of these seeds germinated. And I really didn't have to go in and wet these paper towels anymore. Just having the Ziploc bag closed in the fridge for, you know, a month for these lavender, maybe over a month for this lavender. A bunch of these germinated as well. Okay, I have these 6 cell packs just filled up with some potting mix. I am gonna go ahead and just with my fingers, people use tweezers, you can use like maybe chopsticks or a toothpick or fork even just to pull these out. I'm just gonna gently do it with my hands, but just, oh, well, I just like pulled off the leaves on this one, so that's dead. Okay, I'll give it one more try, and if it doesn't work out, I will use something. I'll get some tweezers. Oh shoot. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get tweezers. So the difficult thing about this is just that it's sticking to, the roots have kind of grown into the paper towel. I think I cut off the root on this one. A part of me just wants to, oh, I'm scared of doing it with the tweezers because these tweezers are kind of sharp. Part of me just wants to cut the paper towel out, you know, and plant it with the paper towel. And I think that's, well, I know that's absolutely fine. Here's what I mean. I sort of just cut around that paper towel that this root is growing into. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pot this whole thing up. Then I am gonna sprinkle vermiculite on top and give this a good watering. I wanna make sure this potting medium stays moist until the root gets a chance to really grow down and grow through. I might even bury that a little bit or cover it with a little bit more potting soil. Since it already started to germinate, these seeds do need light to germinate, and that's why I had them out on that sunny plant stand right by the window while they're still in their plastic bag. And when I can, this one was long enough, I'm just gonna try and press the root side down into the soil as much as I can and keep the leaves out. Okay, I got the lavender all done. I'm just gonna sprinkle some vermiculite over the top. For a lot of it, a lot of the seeds that didn't look like they germinated yet, maybe they won't germinate, maybe they're just not viable, they're dead. These are kind of old seeds. I just sprinkled them over the top of the potting mix anyways, just in case, you know, they're just taking a little bit more time, and they will in the future. So I'm putting some vermiculite on this, and I'm gonna make sure to keep this really moist. And I'll do the Cheyenne Spirit, echinacea. These aren't gonna be much easier. The roots are thicker, the seeds are bigger. They're not sticking to the paper towel as much, or they're easier to pull out, I hope. So I'm not gonna chance it, I'm just gonna cut around the paper towel. Okay, it looks like I only had 3 of the Cheyenne Spirit. I just put the labels in, so I know, and I'll start Paradiso mix. These are nice because they're only just starting to germinate. Like, it's easy to grab them by the seed and just let the rest come out. Oops. It's fine. It's all good. For the rudbekia, and this is the perennial rudbekia. I don't think the normal annuals, well, normal, the ones that are more often used for cut flowers, the annual rudbekia, I don't think they need a stratification period like this. And even for munstead lavender, I was watching a lot of videos of people germinating them successfully without stratifying them. So this is just what I know, and it works. Now these are the ones that I started earlier. They've been in the fridge for about a month. What it looks like to me is that these don't need to be pre-chilled for as long as I thought, or as long as, you know, the seed packet says. I don't even know if they germinated earlier or anything. They look to be about the same size. Okay, and I don't want to waste the cell space, so I'm just gonna start the echinacea purpea in here. These as well, I don't know why I did it. I did it in this soil, so that's what the seed packet told me to do for the rudbekia, is surface sow them onto some soil or potting mix and put it in the fridge, or pre-chill them after they've been, you know, on the soil as well. But I'm sure doing it on the paper towel would have been just as fine. You know, it only looked like one of these echinacea kind of was germinating. Might have been too wet. I think I'm gonna just try surface sowing without stratifying any onto the rest of the seed tray. These don't look like they're doing anything. I'm probably just gonna keep this container full and keep it out in the sun, see if anything happens over the next couple of days. Okay, so here it all is. They're all potted up. I put vermiculite on top just so everything stays extra moist while they're getting settled in, while they get rooted into this. While I put vermiculite on top, I also gave them a good watering. I am gonna go put them under the grow lights. If I have an extra, I don't have an extra humidity dome for this. So I'll just have to make sure to keep an eye on this, or maybe I'll move a humidity dome from one of my other trays. But I also want to show you some trays of other plants that I've started. I've started sweet peas, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. Let me show you. Here are some sweet peas that I sowed last week. They're already starting to come up. I have them here just because they're kind of messy. These are old root trainers that I use to sow them. They have long, deep roots, and that's what they like to get started. So these just kind of get messy because they're a bit flimsy, and I wanted to keep them here with the rest of my mess. Also, it has good light, and the space under my grow lights are quite limited. This takes up quite a bit of space. Hopefully I can get these moved out to the hoop house soon enough and they can grow on a little bit in there before they're ready to plant out. The ground outside is still very frozen, so there's no way they're gonna get out in the ground anytime very soon. Sweet peas are actually one of the first flowers that I grew successfully a few years ago. They are a good cool flower, so they do well in the spring and fall for areas that get very hot during the summer. In Alaska, they will do really well throughout the whole summer because our summers don't get very hot, just as long as they're in a place where their roots or the ground that they're planted in doesn't get very strong sun exposure throughout the whole day, because that will really heat it up. They'll start to just stall out if they're too warm, if they're too hot, but it's really good here. I'm excited to get them in the ground. They smell amazing, so that'll be a nice addition to the garden this year. And let me show you some of the all of my other seedlings. Let me give you a look. I'm in the office. I started some tomatoes and peppers just yesterday. Not much is growing on, but some of them have started. Those are the jalapenos. I think the shishito peppers, I saw a couple sprouting earlier this morning as well. And I have eggplants here. I just got these started maybe less than a week ago. These tomatoes just yesterday, so definitely not expecting much. Oh, and some beets that I got started early. I want to start my beets in here and then I'll plant them out very soon. I'm going to be putting those on the patio deck, the raised planter there. And all my other seedlings, I potted up all of the snapdragons that I had that I started in soil blocks. The soil blocks just were not very good. I don't know if it's the soil that I used that wasn't great for it. I think I also didn't create the soil blocks very well. I really compacted it. I pressed the soil into it. Maybe that was what was hindering the snapdragon growth. Compared to my other snapdragons in the trays, they just were doing real bad. They were not looking healthy. Here's some viola mini tapestry. It's the Frizzle Sizzle mini tapestry I started. I have the rest of my viola growing in here and in the garage as well. Those are the brushstroke violas. More snapdragons. These are my Madame butterflies. I have my eucalyptus, silver dollar eucalyptus. Here are a few of the lisianthus that I potted up. Here's the rest of my lisianthus. They're looking really well. I'm starting to fertilize them a lot more. They're quite heavy feeders, so just as much as I can give them. It's they're slow growers, so this might not look like a lot for you if you're not growing lisianthus yourself, or if you haven't before, or if you just aren't familiar with how slow they grow, but this is really exciting progress for me. And then some white ranunculus I have more ranunculus and anemone in the garage. Back behind them are the perennials that I started in a recent video. The yarrow came up great. Scabiosa was hit and miss. The delphinium I had too, and I potted them up because they like to be grown in cool temperatures, so I'm going to take them down to the garage. I have a few Shasta daisies, I have a few eryngium, and then I sowed some extra yarrow seeds onto the empty spaces. More snapdragons. These are the Potomac mix back there and the Black Prince. You can tell just how much better these snapdragons look than my other ones, how much farther along these are. They both started in soil blocks at the same time. These, let me show you, and these. But I potted these bigger ones up much earlier. I got them out of those cell blocks, and that's what I was using really as a comparison of, you know, the ones in the soil blocks were really stunted, just were not doing anything. Their leaves were drooping. So I figured, let me pot them up and give them a chance. And I think they're doing better. They are doing better. Although my Madame Butterfly, I started these at the same time as well, and I just don't know, they weren't growing as well. Maybe I was behind on the watering. Maybe I just didn't realize I needed to water these more. Maybe the soil, the mix that I was using was bad for these, and the soil blocks, which is why those did really well when I potted them up into a more nutrient-rich soil mix. I'm hoping that I can move these snapdragons out very soon. I'm gonna start hardening them off in the next couple of days. I'll be pinching these snapdragons soon as I'm hardening them off. These can definitely wait a bit longer. It's a shame. I started these you know, quite early and I was hoping to get a lot more growth, but I guess these things happen. And my pepper plant, which is looking worse, but it's got 2 big fruit on it. I should water that today. I have a bunch of basil going on in there, some Thai basil, lemon basil, and the Genovese. I have some spring onions, rosemary, more violas, or pansies, however you call them. These are doing well. Actually, the ones in the garage, I thought these would do well in growing on in colder temperatures, but these are growing much quicker and they're a lot bigger than the ones that are in the garage. But let me go ahead and take you down to the garage and show you what's going on there as well. Just to give you a full look at my seedling collection right now. Brendan's in there working, I think, on he's changing my oil in the car. He's learning how to change the oil so that we can do it ourselves, or he can do it for us and we'll save a bit of money. Also a sneak peek at our little kitchenette renovation. Brendan's been doing so much work here.
Yeah.
So, did you get it done, the car?
Yeah. I've never changed oil on a Jetta before, and it was a learning experience, but not seeing any oil come out the bottom, so I think I got it.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
It was really loud in the garage with the heat on, so I'm just going to be speaking to you from a voiceover. So in the garage closet, what I have growing is this tray of brassicas that I started early. I thought they would be a bit farther along. Maybe I should have kept them inside in the office for a bit longer. And then I have my stock seedlings. Again, these were all in soil blocks, and I guess I just haven't been doing soil blocks right. Maybe my soil blocks are too small. They didn't grow so very big. And then I have some Shanghai green pak choi and some spinach that I started. Hoping to get these in the raised bed planter on the patio sometime soon. And then down here are my violas. The ones that are less farther along are the Frizzle Sizzle Blue Swirl violas. I started them later. And the ones back there are the brushstroke violas. And then we have the delphinium and another succession of stock. These delphinium are growing quite well. I lost 2. They were kind of difficult, these seedlings, to keep alive and healthy. I remember that from last year as well. And then my ranunculus and anemone corms. I have a few that I didn't think would sprout, but it looks like they're coming up now. Better late than never. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.